Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.
Y'all ready for this?
Welcome back to 30 Teams in 30 Days. For day 25, we're going to be wrapping up the NL Central, talking about the Milwaukee Brewers. In 2025, they went 97-65. They were able to clinch the number one seed in the NL, getting a first-round bye into the NLDS, where they met with the Chicago Cubs. It did go to 5 games, but they were able to pull it out with a 3-2 lead. Then they got a matchup with the LA Juggernauts in the NLCS, and the Juggernauts took care of business 4-0. They didn't even get a win. Now, this obviously was not how the Brew Crew wanted to end the season. However, those 97 wins were the most in team history. It also scored 806 runs, which was 6th most in team history. Again, reiterating, this is not the ending that the Brew Crew wanted. And while they won all those games, but again, there was no championship to go with it. The important thing to remember is this is another group that has several guys who are under 30 who can develop, grow, and make this team better. There's also some quality prospects who could very well make their debut this year. Before we get to that, we're going to talk about the team leaders. The stats were dispersed pretty evenly between the vets and the rookies, or at least the younger guys. But the best part about this is there was a lot of health in general for this team. Sal Frelick led the team in average, while William Contreras, not to mix up with his brother Wilson Contreras, led the team in walks, while Mr. Jackson Churio led the team in doubles, triples, and slugging. Bryce String led the team in runs, hits, stolen bases, and on-base percentage, while Christian Yelich rounds it out, leads in home runs, RBIs, total bases, strikeouts, unfortunately, and on-base plus slugging. One of the guys we talked about leading multiple categories was Bryce Terrain. He took a gigantic step forward in 2025. He was able to improve his stats to the point where he put himself on a very short list of elite second basemen. He was able to add another 20 runs, hits, and RBIs to 2024 numbers and improve his home runs from 7 to 18. He also added 30 points to his batting average. However, in only one more game, he did strike out 45 more times and commit a few more errors. But what was most concerning to me was he only stole 24 bases. Okay, that's a decent number. Why is that a concern? Because in 2024, he stole 50 bases. That's why it's a concern. I was expecting more bases. So get on that, Mr. Turang. Another young guy who had people clamoring on the waiver wire to grab him after some very good performances early on was Sal Frelick. He was on many of my teams. I'm super excited I have him because he did perform at a very high level. He did improve 24-25 in 3 less games, adding 30 points to his batting average, having 30 more hits and 30 more RBIs. That's pretty good for a guy who isn't known for a lot of pop. Speaking of pop, he was able to improve from 2 home runs to 12 home runs. And on top of that, you add more walks and stolen bases. This guy, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be looking for him late in drafts. Stop me if you've heard it before, but there's another guy who did very well and doubled his stats in 2025. Yep, I know. But this guy wasn't a newbie. This guy's Christian Yelich. 2024, he only played in 74 games, and in 2025, he played in a lot more games. He doubled games played, runs, home runs, RBIs, and unfortunately strikeouts. He is always going to be an injury risk, but that is one worth taking, especially if he's going to continue to hit at such a high level. Now, not everyone can improve. There were a few guys who did regress or just not perform as well. William Contreras did see a dip across the board in everything except walks. He actually added like 9 walks, so that was good for him. But while he's still elite, he's still going to be one of the top catchers off the board. Just something to keep in mind. It could be a one-off. It could be a fluke. It could just be him starting to regress. Now, again, he's like 25, 26. That's not really what I'm thinking, but yeah, I'll put it in there. Another guy who was very, very young and also saw very slight stat drops was Jackson Churio. This is absolutely nitpicky. This is grasping at straws. He is going to be fine. He's going to rebound and be chef's kiss. The last bat we're going to talk about is a guy who didn't have anything to compare his rookie season to. Caleb Durbin came over from the Yankees in the Devin Williams trade. Literally, they just could have kept him. We would have been happy with Durbin, especially, 1, now since he's playing for the Red Sox, and 2, since he did pretty good. He played in 136 games, was able to have more hit by pitches than stolen bases. 24 hit by pitches, 18 stolen bases. I'm not sure if that's impressive or just sad that you are able to get hit so much and put yourself on the base pass, but hey, got one at all costs, right? He also did smack 11 home runs. That was pretty good. He had 50 strikeouts. Okay. 50 and 135, 176 is not bad. He also had 30 walks. So he's having productive outs and he's having patience at the plate, getting on base, and using his speed or ability to get hit by the ball to get around the base paths. This is definitely a trade that I'm not happy with because Devin Williams blew 4 saves for us this past year. Moving on to the pitching, this is another staff that had some vets and some young guys. Definitely both had their pros and cons, and I think it's important to keep in mind that they're going to need someone to step up and not be injured during the year. We'll get to that in a second. Freddie Peralta did lead everything on this team, and by a pretty wide margin, too. Peralta was able to lower his ERA by almost a point. It was like 0.9, but we'll say it was almost a point, and able to add 6 wins. Now for 2026, he'll be taking his talents to the other side of New York, the wrong side of New York, and be pitching for the New York Mets. Taking on a team with 13 wins and 9 quality starts, Quinn Priester was absolutely able to find stability on his 3rd team in 3 years. He was able to appear in 29 games, have 157 innings pitched, and have a respectable 3.3 ERA. In his first year at the major league level, Chad Patrick absolutely did enough to grab a spot in the 2026 rotation. In just 119 innings pitched, he was able to rack up 127 strikeouts with a 3.5 ERA. He does have several walks and does give up some home runs, but those earned runs are going to come at a higher rate at different places. He is going to have to continue to get his control back because he had 40 walks in just 119 innings pitched. That's not good, chatty boy. So let's make sure we're going to be looking at these numbers and getting the walks down because that could be a lot of base path congestion that could end up in some bloop hits, getting some runs around, and higher ERA. Another pitcher who had a ton of hype, so everyone was paying attention to him, Jacob Mizorowski. This guy had 66 innings pitched and 87 strikeouts. That's good. In those same 66 innings pitched, he walked 31 guys. Boo! That created a lot of congestion on the base pass and probably led to his mid-4+ ERA. The last guy we're talking about is Logan Henderson. He only started 5 games at the major league level, but has yet to find a loss at the major league level. 3-0 with a 1.78 ERA, a sub-1 whip is .99. Henderson had 25 innings at the major league level and struck out 33 guys. This man could be and should be the 6th guy called up for this Brew Crew rotation. One of my favorite guys in this rotation is Brandon Woodruff. He has been fighting injuries the last few years and will be fighting to get past injury to start opening day, or at least to play opening day. I don't know if he'll be starter if he's just barely on the mend, on the comeback from his injury. When we get past the starting pitchers, the bullpen was stellar. There were 3 guys with 17+ holds, and Abner Uribe had 37 holds and had a great pair of ratios with a ton of strikeouts. He did step into the closer role when Trevor Meagle had to go out. But once Meagle came back, Abner Uribe stepped back into the setup role, which he does very well in, but he was also doing very well in the closer's role. So the important thing to remember is that Abner Uribe is a little younger and not as injury prone as Meagle. Now again, Meagle had 30 saves last year, so I'm not saying he's not good, but he's going to have a short leash, especially since the Brewers know what Abner Uribe can do, and it's pretty good. As we move on to the prospects, the Brewers have 5 in the top 100, number 3 overall being Jesus Mead. This guy is being talked about as a potential franchise player at second or short. Well, I'm pretty sure they have someone at short already. Pretty sure they have someone at second already. They're saying Mead is a power hitter, but he's only got 12 home runs in 166 games. So while it's okay not to be a power hitter, he definitely has more potential at being able to steal bases than hitting 12 home runs in a year. The next prospect we're going to talk about is a super utility infielder, Luis Pena. This guy can absolutely find the ball anywhere in the strike zone or out of the strike zone and make contact. He was actually able to have a batting title in the Dominican Summer League with a .393 batting average. Holy cow. He also stole 39 bases that year. Oh, that's pretty good. How many games? 44. He was able to move up pretty quickly to AA, and the pitchers there quickly found out he was allergic to non-fastballs. So that's a bummer, but he's going to have to find his way to get the bat around and get it in position to hit breaking balls, sliders, curve balls, anything but a fastball, because these pitchers in the MLB are going to find out that you cannot hit it, and they're going to throw everything that you cannot hit. The other infielder, specifically at shortstop, though, is Cooper Pratt. This guy has all the makings of a future star at the position, but they already have too many cooks in the kitchen, so this could be a dicey situation. The last 2 prospects are actually coming over from the Mets, and they trade for Freddie Peralta. Brandon Sproat, however you say his name, and then the man, the myth, the legend, Jet Williams. Jet Williams is aptly named because he's so fast, but he just has such a small frame. He is going to likely work at DH, potentially outfield, but they already have some good players out there. He is very fast, though, so Nothing's going to hit the ground with him out there, but he's also probably going to be able to steal a ton of bases. Then Brandon Sproat out, while his numbers in New York were not sexy, they were like 4+ or 5+. He does have pretty good command, and he is going to be able to get a shot in this rotation, or at least break with it if they have a doubleheader, if they need someone else, someone goes to IL, whatever. As we get to the arrivals and departures, they added Mr. Kyle Harrison, who is sliding in the back end of the rotation, Luis Rengifo, who is going to be their opening day third baseman, which is wild to me, and then David Hamilton. You might remember mostly from stealing bases against the Yankees, but in any case, now he's going to be with the Brewers, and hopefully they don't hurt us. As we get to the departures, obviously, the biggest one was Freddie Peralta. Another guy they let go of was Caleb Durbin. Had him a year and then sent him off to the Red Sox. Of all teams, come on, guys. And they also lost pitchers Tyler Alexander and Nestor Cortez. I don't think anyone's missing them. As we get to the fantasy assets, there are definitely some good options. Contreras is definitely a must-have behind the plate. Jackson Chourio, Bryce Turang, Christian Yelich, and I'm going to say Sal Frelick, because if you are in an OBP, OPS, Walks League, he's great. As we move to a little deeper, Joey Ortiz does have some stolen bases, have a little bit of power. Then we move on over to the pitching. I love Woodruff. I love Miso a little bit, very inconsistent. He has like a 4.3, 4.4 ERA, so not sexy. I would also absolutely consider Quinn Priester a little deeper in leagues, especially if it's a streaming option. As we get to the bullpen, Abner Uribe, I think he's going to be the main guy, and then Trevor Meagle. As we do the bold predictions, I think Christian Yelich is going to have another 100 RBI season. He had 103 this past season. I also think there are going to be a handful of guys reaching 20 stolen bases. Sal Frelick, Jackson Chourio, and my boy Bryce Turang. I also think that Abner Uribe is going to be the main catcher this year. I don't know if he's going to share much time with Meagle, but his cushion is very, very short. So I think Abner Uribe is going to slot in there. That's going to do it for day 25. I definitely am excited because now the next 5 days we can talk about the NL East and eventually talk about my Yankees. I'm so excited for this. This is JK. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.